we doing? That. Yep. Pending connection. Okay. Yep. It's supposed to be linked, but it's not, so they must still be working on it. Oh well. Alright. So, as usual, scene review starts the day off. And we have our usual threat spike. Looks like 43 is 43/8 is still being my best friend. Seem to get a lot of threat space out of them. What else do we have? So abuses are up. Miscellaneous attacks and overscans, right? So we're just going to drop these top 3 for today. So 43.128.112.82. And right here we'll go 6 in case we got more lunch and learn people. I want to start questions. All right. There's somebody watching from Twitch, so that's cool. Welcome. Got one on Discord and nobody on YouTube. That sounds about right. So that is going to be 18 maybe. So 64 to 127. Yeah, that's it. So then we're going to take the network address, this guy. And then scene block for 157. 43, 157. I'm just going to expand this so that pops out again. 97, 37. Get a lot of hits from Singapore lately. I'm going to say that's a 15. So 0. Nope. 16. Too far. 17. I went the wrong direction. That's my fault. There we go. And then 182, 151, 28, 204. China. Sounds about right. That looks somewhere in the
realm. Connor, are you talking?
I am. Can you not hear me? see. Can you hear me better now? Let's try that. Can you hear me better now?
There, I could hear you there.
Cool deal. All right, drop done. OBS was picking it up, but Discord wasn't, so thank you for the report. Let's do IP calc for this guy on I always pick the worst subnet blocks. That's not what I wanted at all. 10. So that goes a little too big. Maybe a 12. It's a little bigger than the actual block, but I'm all right with that because it's a sliding subnet space. So we'll kill that. All that stuff can go away. All right, so that should get some of our seam threat space down. Don't really worry about that too much. And then audit spaces. So there is a lot of egrep crap. I'm not really sure why. I'll filter that out. Okay. So we'll go up as root and we'll take a look at the Linus reports and see if we can find a couple things that will let us improve our posture. So in Linus.log, I've got all of this stuff. Right. System D, analyze security. Okay, so that's going to be something that we're going to want to look at. Because a lot of these are services that we've deployed. They're coming back as unsafe. So let's take a look at that guy real quick. So systemd analyze is looking at startup statistics, which this is looking systemd analyze security. It's going to be down here a little bit. Okay, security and sandboxing settings with more specified service units. If unit is specified, whatever. Cool, so let's do this. Let's take one of these that came back as unhappy, right? Let's take a look at this. All right, so oof. Yeah, so some of this stuff I may care about, I may not. So I don't necessarily want all this filtering to be done. And like it needs access to the system network and other things. So this is mostly just evaluating our service files. I guess we can look through these as we go service by service. But a lot of these, like, I don't necessarily need them all change rooted and locked to a private networking space and everything else because they're doing things that I need them to do to be useful. So I think we'll move past that one. Enabled services, yep, that sounds right. All the services that are starting at boot are services that I expect. I'm skimming down on this. There's our system to analyze security again. Kernel loaded modules. Let's go looking for solutions. Okay. So find all of our suggestions. Okay, so Linus wants an update. That's fine. I'll get caught in our next patching cycle. I don't want a password on grub bootloader because I need to have unattended reboot. We have passwords in crypto, which we have an issue open to enable or disable a password file for unintended reboot. Most of the time we just put the password in by a VNC when the system starts, but that's not one that I'm going to mess with. I will probably look at suppressing that test because it's not going to be part of our ecosystem. May also suppress this test. I do want core dumps, so this test will also probably be suppressed. And then so once password hashing rounds, and like cracklib isn't going to be handled in PAN. It'll get handled with LDAP. So this block is more or less irrelevant because we are LDAP centered. Like expiration dates are already handled. The hashing is already handled in LDAP. For on disk boxes, there's a very small population. There's a lot of SSH in, and most of them are things like GitHub where they're required to use a key for authentication is configured in the service. But we can look at enhancing login defs for minimum, maximum password age, whatever. I just want to make sure that we don't lock out service accounts. UMask and profile should be 027. So these two might be something we do. This one is one we've considered before and decided not to do, so we'll probably end up suppressing these two, or this test. That's giving us adaptive storage space, and that is a budgetary choice. Nope, we need USB drivers. We need FireWire driver, or we don't need FireWire. So we could probably enact this test. I will probably suppress this one as well. These three, Might be able to drop those pros because I'm not tracking any tool that needs them right now. We do audit our tables rules. This one I'm very interested in what the results are. So let's take a look at this guy real quick. Okay. NGINX SSL configuration, configured on one or more vhosts. We have 143 hardening points out of 192. Not giving us a lot of details about that in terms of what they want hardened. And we have an A+ rating from Qualys SSL Labs for our SSL front. Not entirely sure it's a valid finding right now. Let's see what else we got. SSH hardening. Nope, not doing that because we are serving a public service, so it needs to be on 22. It's also part of to get to URLs and other things. I do want TCP keep alive, so no. I'm fine with max sessions. Max auth tries is 6 down to 3. Maybe. And no, I'm not putting my log level at Pivos on a public service. That's not going to happen. Just straight up not going to happen. So these SSH configurations or configuration recommendations are not going to happen. Allow URL, those stable downloads via PHP. This guy, I believe that this is allow URL f open is on because we have a MediaWiki install. So moving our remaining MediaWiki instance to Gitee would solve this problem, and I would enact this change at that time. But today I have to have that available. Legal banner to Etsy issue. That's cool. Let's do this real quick. So we're going to have some things we're going to suppress. I'm going to take this one in 94 for sure. And then this guy was definitely going to go. This guy's going to go. Wiki. Better way to define that. also want to look at actioning this guy. What is this guy? Compiler permissions. So we do have some compilers. Yep, that's known. One or more compiler by restricting executable access to root or group only. I think we're going to... I don't know, I've got two folks on the call. This one I'm actually going to open up a question for. So we do have compilers. There's GCC, there's CLang, there's AS on the box. We could restrict those to at least be root, wheel, and then deny the world. Could add a local POSIX group for like compiler permissions. And you have to authorize the user to be part of compiler. That being said, users not admins don't have shell access. And I don't really see your average or even your sophisticated attacker dropping source on the box to punch it through a compiler. Maybe they would. Any opinions from Discord community about when we have a SFTP change root, whether compiler restriction is really buying us benefit?
Are there? I have a counter question.
Yeah.
Are there accounts? So you mentioned that only admin users basically have access to this shell.
Mm-hmm.
Are there non-admin shell accounts?
No.
Then it doesn't matter if they get a shell account. They'll have compiler.
Yeah, so our general posture is service accounts are set with SBIN no login as their shell. And then LDAP users are jailed at the SSH service to be SFTP only. And the only exception to that is if they are part of Wheel, which is me. Like I'm the only one that has shell access to the box.
There is I can't think of how to do it right now, but it may be worth looking into. I'm pretty sure with SFTP there is a way to sneak in a command, like an environment through an environment variable or something that you send as the session's coming up.
So that's worth talking about. Let's dig at that for a second. So I'm gonna grab a new shell. So under SSH role, our SSH config is public. So SSH config, any LDAP user or SFTP local user is jailed to the internal SFTP service, which is handled by the internal SFTP subsystem. So then what we're looking for is whether you have an environment variable escape that lets you out of the force command and the change root, because you're trooted to home. So you'd have to, which, I mean, you could in theory upload your whole change root ecosystem and then let the change root take over, maybe, sure. SFTP force command internal SFTP escape. Like there's a Stack Overflow. Don't care about that kind of crap. Maybe this one is the one we're talking about. So change root feature. Yep. Yep. So this is basically what we're doing, right? We have a change root directory and a force command.
No.
Don't need anything special. Cooperating process outside the change root. Change roots change personality.
Maybe I'm missing something, but this looks like the full attack chain.
Yeah, no, this is definitely
we're
the full
just
attack
going
chain.
over.
But I guess the thing that I'm finding interesting is busy. How old is this? That's the real question.
2018.
So I guess this one is saying if you use SFTP change roots, it's the same with BusyBox specifically, because that's the tool he's attacking. If you make a change root writable, then you give people root to your box.
So if all your utils are bundled inside one linked thing, that's a problem as well. Yeah, but I think your system is maybe not subject to that.
I'm trying to get my head around how he's getting remote command execution in a SFTP system.
The compiler.
Well, I get compiling his sudo exec, so he gets access to SWID as a functional call. I get that. What I'm not getting is why SFTP is allowing.
No,
Okay,
that
so
part
I think this right here is the gap. So this is saying you have to have something else invoke the thing that you just compiled.
Yeah, this is
So there's a gap. There's a gap in the attack chain here. Like, yes, you can upload arbitrary compiled things if I give you upload permissions, which I'm tracking as the thing that I give you. But
in
then
part 1, it looks like they open a reverse shell, and then that remote is the reverse shell.
well, what he's doing is he's putting the reverse shell in place, and then he's putting a set UID binary in place, and then something happens here where set UID invokes the remote shell, thus you own the box. Right? Because here's where I'm sorry, backwards. He uploads his set UID thing, compiles it against the box. He uploads his remote shell. Something happens that allows him to invoke the remote shell. Don't know what. And then from the remote shell, he calls his compiled set UID on bash. Thus, he has root. what I'm not tracking is how he triggered execution just from SFTP. Like, this is reading to me as you can put your things in place because you can write when you SFTP upload, which is true. And then you need some other exploit to trigger the remote shell and the thing that you compiled. I'm also not entirely sure why a functional call to set UID from a deprivileged process isn't denied by kernel.
I'm curious about that as well.
Dev mailing list. So this looks like it was tied to a specific CVE, which they fixed by saying you're not allowed to write to the root as your SFTP root, which is why the change root directory here is home, not home slash dollar or %H, right? So root owns home. You're not allowed to write to home, but you're allowed to write to your user directory within there. So I guess we're technically already fixed against this. I'm not going to worry about that. Yeah, because like this is the bad thing that he's talking that previous write-up was talking about, because he made home Lenny writable so he can escape and set UID. This is not the thing that's saving you. Like, you should just drop /Lenny off of this. Oh wait. Anyway, I think we're already fixed against that. Okay. I think I'm pretty confident at this point. I'm not going to worry about that one. Why did I lose my shell? Oh, you are responding, so where are you? There we go. Okay, so then we want that issue banner, and we'll add oh my god. Copy and paste is hard, huh? I'll see we have that mitigated in other config. So that gets us a start on some things to fix. Cool. All right. I'll save that for later. It gets rid of that. And then we have some patching to do, which is fine. I'm just going to add that to the query. Just take a look, because Mott patches itself every night. So this is all medium or low stuff, which is good. Pretty sure, yeah, I needed to have a, we're going to enhance this real quick. So we're going to add a new widget. We're going to do custom aggregation, edit, and group by risk. That should be fine. Roll up columns, count of risk. So then we can see how much high, critical, low, medium we have. That's what I want. Update widget. There we go. So we can get a better idea of our risk space. Right, so criticals we have 2, 8 high, 60 medium, 22 low. Sounds about right. That was not the thing I wanted to do, I don't think. Post. Yep. That's fine. We'll put that back. Strong on loans. Load preset 1 day update. And we're doing pie chart. Group by risk. Metric is count of risk. So we'll save that. And then we can add that to the query and just see the criticals. So mini-zip is arbitrary code execution. What do I even need mini-zip for? Should we just kill that? Let's find out. Come on, get there. Ask Mott too. Mott should return faster than core. I have noticed that like cache things seem to be a problem. Required by crap. That is unfortunate. Required by keypass xc and hashcat. Sad. Alright, so we'll have to get a patch cycle started to fix that guy. That's unfortunate. And we can look at our risk highs and see what we got those. Grub. It's on everybody, has a problem. And Node.js. Okay. Node.js, we are currently sitting on 1 minor release behind. That's annoying. Because we just patched a couple weeks ago. I hate Node.js. I really do.
Me too.
Because we have to have it for our Discord bridge. That's the thing that it supports. And that Discord bridge is really freaking useful.
The answer is likely no, but would it run with a different JavaScript runtime?
That's a good question. So the one that we're using, I think I have it starred on GitHub. Because this is one of the last couple things that I still need to turn into infrastructure as code. But it's this guy. So he requires on Discord.js, which requires Node.js, according to the developer. Now, that being said, if you can find me a different JavaScript runtime that will execute the tool, I am perfectly happy to replace it.
Yeah, we'll take actually. It does. even Discord JS is saying something like that. But I see, for example, that their documentation mentions running bun commands, which bun is a whole separate runtime. Will bun actually fully run it? I don't know, but
Okay.
I know it's a.
I mean, it shouldn't be that hard. It's just web API calls back and forth for doing all of the things. And then like the IRC support it's a generic IRC bot, so there shouldn't be any like fancy things that they're using, but maybe, I don't know.
Oh yeah. Apparently, I'll put a link in tech.
Okay.
Should work.
Okay. I will give that some looking and some developing. We will do this real quick. So that is going to go under PC and issues, new issue. Okay. Nope, that's not the thing I wanted you to copy at all. How'd you have an account? Guess not. Let's do that. Okay, cool. So like it's a new issue open. Puts it on the tracking. I'm not sure when I'll get around to that one, but we will definitely take a look at that kid. Appreciate the suggestion.
Yep.
All right, while we're talking about issues, nobody's real. Did you want to talk about the PC issue for Ansible lint?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. So what questions can I answer for you?
So I'm recloning the repo right now, but so what I think, I mean, the description of what you, right there, of what you want is really short. So my interpretation of what you want is that there's a directory called pre-commit hooks, and I should create a bash script in there to run Ansible lint against everything that's in the playbooks directory at some regular intervals.
Yeah. So how that works. For our development environment, we left shift a lot of the sanity checks so that Mott only has to do a defined amount of work. Most of it happens in the development environment, and I'm trying to pull as much load off of the CI/CD pipeline to shorten up my build cycles as much as I can. I'd like to get it down to where we could have Mott do like a every 6-hour build instead of a nightly build, but we might just leave it at nightly for right now. Anyway, what happens is when you make a clone, ideally we want it subscribed to Uniglot's hooks directory. Uniglot has one of the hooks is looking for local things, so that way we can have hooks that apply to all projects in the AniNIX organization, and then we have hooks that apply just to specific projects, right? So this guy has that our pre-commit and our scripts.d. Scripts.d picks up local hooks, right? So this is where we do that find and execute on what's in local hooks. Make sense? So then, to your question, under pre-commit hooks, you would add another check in here that would, run Ansible lint against everything that's in playbooks. Potentially, depending on how well Ansible lint does it, also pull in roles. I'm not entirely sure how well that's going to work. But if we can Ansible lint check on roles and playbooks, that would be very nice just to make sure that our playbooks look nice and clean and professional. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Cool. So it's a relatively small check, but it will make a big impact for our professionalism. And then I'm sure there's going to be a whole bunch of things that's going to kick back my current roles in the improved IPAM. This is the branch that I'd probably tell you to cut from right now because it's significantly ahead of everything else. So if I go to improved IPAM and look at my commit graph, where do we go? Why are you not showing me like the whole pretty graph? There we go. And that's what, no, it's not what I want. I want to create a new branch from it. I just want to freaking see it. I'm 24 ahead, right? But I should let me see a commit graph. It had that. Oh, let's pull it across this one. I don't want too many icons of Git things. Send me commits. Commit graph. There we go. Blech. So
If only there was a convenient way to graph it in the terminal.
if only. I also like trying to use Git because Git is the place where people that don't have a shell can come in here and emulate the functionality. But yeah, I'm a little
That's
bit.
a fair point.
I'm a little bit behind on getting Git to, or getting my shell commands to do my commit graph in place. But yeah, so like hypervisor migration is probably a branch I'm just going to straight drop because it already got merged into improved IPAM. 25U is its own thing. Don't worry about that one right now. Main exists here, and we're just like 24 commits behind or whatever else, like from improved IPAM. So I would cut from here, that, and audit against what's in the improved IPAM branch. I'm going to be trying to close that up, but I need to get the IRC bots and Yggdrasil finished in the roles, and then improved IPAM will merge back into main. This branch has been living for way too long, but this is a fallout from trying to Ansiblize all of our infrastructure, and that has been a very long project that I have taken a lot longer to complete than I probably should have. We did not do a good iterative approach converting from our prior deployment system to Ansible, and I'm paying for it.
Gotcha.
But anyway, does that give you enough to go on, or did you want more tips? Want to look at like how Ansible Lint invokes, or how it's going to help you out? Nobody's real.
I think I have enough to at least get started. I just need to work with it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, take it, chew on it. We will go to this guy, and so I think I have to put you in contributors. I'll add you as a team member that way. And then we can go back to here. And should be able to, yeah, track you as the assignee. So I know that you're currently working on it. And you can cut your MR or your pull request and just mention it in here. You should be able to submit a pull request at your leisure.
Yeah, it'll probably take me a little bit, but I'll get to it.
That's fine. Like when you were asking for stuff to do, this is one of the ones that has exactly no timeline. There's no pressure on this. So whenever you get to it, great. Anytime you don't have time to work on it is no big deal. Like you do you whenever you can. So I still have IRC formalization. I still have a bunch of improvements for like our site mapping and our ops playbooks and a bunch of other things that are in flight right now. So it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Hey, I have a question about your setup here, Connor. Do you impose upload limits, like in a QoS sense, in any way?
When you say upload limits, are you talking about through our SFTP services or through Git?
Like you don't need an account to clone this directory, correct? Like,
Correct.
what's to stop? Like, yeah, what's to like if a lot of people just decided to clone like that directory, and I mean you probably have a modest home upload limit. Couldn't that like cause a denial of service if you don't have throttling or something in place?
Okay, so let's talk about that. I have a very limited population that's allowed to make and do things on the Foundation service or the SFTP service. And I know exactly who all those people are. I have met those people face to face. So if somebody decides to start forking everything and my Git infrastructure explodes in size, I'll just rip out their password and I'll trash the bad clones that they made and I'll recover the storage. Like, you're not going to be able to lock me out that way. In terms of external people on the world, that's why registration is closed, right? So when you go to AniNIX.net and you click register, you can't, because you have to actually talk to me. Like, it is a lab. It is intended for my personal use. This is not a GitHub replacement. What you are able to do is you're still able to view all these projects, right? So you can come over to Capisi, you can go on HTTPS, you can copy URL, you can clone it to your heart's content and fork it to your own ecosystem as often as you want. I really don't care how many people out in the world try to clone these projects. If my external web front starts receiving an inordinate number of requests, worst comes to worst, I'll just drop the NAT rule for a bit to fix that, and then the individuals that were triggering that DOS condition will get locked at the subnet layer. So I'll just drop your whole ISP if I catch you cloning 1,000,001 things.
Yeah, what made me think of that was yesterday when I did my first Git clone of that directory. I noticed like the speed it said like was 1.1 megabits a second, and I just got to thinking that like just like one person doing that, I feel like that could affect your home internet performance.
So, I don't have a problem talking about this. That is one of the things that I just know about hosting. But relatively speaking, our connection is decent. I put some significant effort into making sure I audit my ISP, that I get a good upload rate. I actually care about upload metrics more than down. So like down is 90 some, upload I usually push around 8. If there's a bunch of people that are trying to do it at the same time, you'll just all see your own connections drop or slow down and throttle. Like you'll be throttled by the ISP more than anything else.
Gotcha.
So we got a ping about an ancient cert. So let's talk about that. So AniNIX.net.
Not your current one. Literally a cert from years ago.
Yep. So that was, I think, our first iteration with Let's Encrypt. We've dropped a bunch of those DNS names, and we just went through another round at the start of April, dropping a set of DNS names that we aren't using and adding new ones in. So the current list is audited and accurate. I might be doing a monitor to take a look at this output and make sure that I get exactly this regex match back with Let's Encrypt audits. But yeah, whoever that guy is looking at seems pretty ancient. Yeah, it's 2016. That's like our first iteration of signing it.
Yeah, I was just poking around in old Acme certs, and caught the Bazaar domain.
Bazaar used to
I'm
be
familiar.
our revision control.
So interesting.
I had an iteration where I was trying to use Canonical's Bazaar as a less complicated version of Git before I really learned why Git was complicated. And then, like, we don't really use, we have one MediaWiki instance that I still support, but it's not our primary. We moved everything to Git, right? So the wiki subdomain is gone. Heartbeat is also gone. That was a keep alive monitor where you were able to like curl to verify that the network's still up. That guy's gone. Bazaar is gone. IRC is still around. Singularity is still around. We always have to support www, and Yggdrasil is still around. Although when this cert was cut, we were on Flex.
You know what? I think I actually recall connecting to bazaar.aninix and it being your software forge.
Yep, back in the day.
But just when I saw it, it made me think of the pirate. There's like a whole fleet of pirating software that has R in the terminology.
Got it. Yeah.
There's dozens and dozens of apps called something R.
And we also had this Codebird collaboration platform providing.
This was just
somebody doing something similar to what we are.
Sort of, yeah. It's more an anti-GitHub and I
Oh, okay.
figured Zeal might want to peek at it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I think they've even forked Giti or something else just to not have a commercial backing organization.
Yeah, I mean this is Gitty.
Yeah.
I don't know if they forked early or late, but it like and I noticed this line. Like this is one of the signatures that I look at because we have the same line.
Ah, gotcha.
It's one of the things where the style sheet stops this black block, and when we redeploy the style sheet to do our red black theming, not all the pieces like line up one to one perfectly, and that line is a good way to like catch it. So yeah, they're definitely running Gitty as a graph. I don't know how much of their own, but we can take a look real quick. So Codeberg member area request. So this is like how they run their tools, and that looks exactly like the Gitty issue tracker. But I think there's also a banner. They added their own footer. Yep, it's Gitty. Because here's your Gitty VS Code tags.
I am still about 67% sure it's a
Fork.
it's a soft fork at least, because some of the terminology they're using in certain places isn't that, like, they don't say they're Gitty, they say they're like Forge Joe or something else.
Yep.
Yeah, right there.
This is Forge Joe, which uses free software for development. So it uses Woodpecker CI, Weblate for Translate, Codeberg Pages, which is homebrewed for doing their page stuff.
Yeah, I think everything is a fork. I think it's all, well, except for the pages. But I think they've just literally forked every piece of software they use to make sure it's fully FOSS in every sense they can make it.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, it's like it's a software, a FOSS community.
There's the fork.
Free GitHub like thing that people can use.
That's nifty. Cool. Well, yeah, maybe we'll look at standing up an AniNIX organization on Codeberg and adding it to our list of mirrors.
I was gonna say, I'm about to start mirroring some stuff onto here.
Yeah,
There's some documentation I want copies of.
That's all we do is we just have, so we don't do all of our projects, but like our warrant canary especially, right? Under our hooks, our post receive hook, it's just a git push mirror
Nice.
to a SSH definition. So we have a unique SSH key, and GitHub as a target for that warrant canary. It just makes it super simple. And I chose GitHub because that was the one, like the most familiar term that people have for like LinkedIn right now. Why are you telling me you don't exist?
Extra Y.
Yep. Okay. Okay. Yep. There we go.
Nice.
I really wanted to have an external source that was tracking this.
Yeah, that's very reasonable.
Cool. Well, we didn't get to pack the box things today, but that's all right. It is more or less how we've been doing the lunch and learn so far, is just talking through stuff as we go.
Nice. I'm glad I dropped by.
Yeah. How's stuff going for you?
Mid. It's all right, I guess. I was laid off